What is the creepiest or most unexplained thing that's happened to you that you still think and or wonder about to this day? 1. The vanishing childhood friend. When I was in 4th or 5th grade, my best friend suddenly vanished. Her entire family packed up and left without any warning or goodbye. Months later, I received a phone call from her. She told me she missed me and that she was safe, but she wasn't allowed to give any details about where she was or what had happened. Mid-conversation, someone came into the room and she had to hang up abruptly. I've searched for her on social media many times over the years with no success. As a kid, I had no idea what was going on, though later I wondered if it might have been witness protection or some family emergency back in their home country. I still think about her and hope she's okay. I just wish I knew the truth. 2. The dead officer in the parking lot. Around 1973, I arrived at work early, as usual. As I walked from my car to the entrance, I saw Warrant Officer Farty standing in the parking lot. He was wearing a full uniform, which was unusual because he almost always wore civilian clothes. I saluted him and he waved back, saying he'd be inside in a minute. When I reached the office, I was surprised to find the captain and his senior sergeant already there. The captain asked me to sit down and said he had bad news. Farty had been killed in a head-on collision at 3 a.m. that morning. I immediately protested that I had just seen him outside. The captain calmly replied that he and the sergeant had identified the body only about an hour earlier. The whole experience still feels completely unreal. 3. The phantom phone call from the hotel pool. I was working the night shift as an auditor at an old hotel. Around 2 a.m. the phone rang and the caller ID showed the pool area, which was supposed to be closed. I answered and heard only very heavy breathing. I hung up, checked the security cameras, and saw that all the lights in the pool room were on. I went down the hallway to investigate. As I approached the glass door, it became so cold I could see my breath. The door was completely fogged over, and every light inside was off. I opened the door and the motion sensor light above me came on. Then a light across the pool lit up by itself. One by one, lights began turning on in a clear path around the edge of the pool, exactly as if an invisible person was walking toward me. I ran out as fast as I could and locked myself in the manager's office until sunrise. The next day, I told my manager the story, expecting him to laugh. Instead, he became serious and asked if I was absolutely sure the call had come from the pool. When I said yes, he told me there hadn't been a phone in the pool room for 30 years. I went and checked myself. There was no phone at all. I was a complete skeptic before that night, but I've never found a rational explanation. 4. The 3 knocks and the pipe organ lights. In 1988, my wife and I were renting a renovated house that included part of a 1700s log cabin. One day while I was sitting on the toilet, I heard 3 very loud, distinct knocks on the wall right beneath the bathroom window. I looked outside. Nothing was there. About 30 seconds later, the same 3 knocks came again. Still nothing. Later, when we decided to plant something under that window, we dug down only a few inches and hit a concrete slab. It turned out the bathroom had originally been the entrance to the old log house. We lived there 3 years and never heard those knocks before or after that day. Years later, we built our own large log home around a 1933 Mahler pipe organ we had rescued from a church. While I was restoring the organ in the basement, something strange kept happening with the 3 fluorescent lights above my workbench. Every time I went to the garage to fetch another pipe, one of the 3 light fixtures would be off when I returned, a different one each time. I never saw the lights actually turn off or on. They simply changed state while I was gone. It never happened again in the 30 years since. My wife is convinced the original donor of the organ, a woman named Christine, was somehow involved. 5. Footprints walking upside down on the ceiling. I once stayed overnight at a friend's house. In the middle of the night, I woke up to the sound of someone walking around in the attic above us. I didn't think much of it and went back to sleep. The next morning, I looked up at the ceiling and saw a perfect circle of footprints around the light fixture, as if someone had been walking upside down, circling the bulb. The prints were clear and deliberate. When I pointed them out to my friend, he just shrugged and said he thought the house was haunted, but it didn't bother him. That was 30 years ago, and I still remember the sight of those footprints as if it happened yesterday. These 5 stories still haunt the people who lived them. Some things simply have no explanation, and maybe they never will. Which one gave you the biggest chill? Drop it in the comments.